And I just don't think that Cecil is good enough to warrant that. Old Shadow Titan. Like, if you think Cecil's worth it, then I'd say give it a shot. Just like so far for me, it hasn't done the job. Moana music. This is Civilization, son. All right, turn one Ragioli. So I'm gonna be eating a hit off of this. I think my best play is just to go ahead and like bite the bullet and thought seize because I can't hold up counterspell anyway. Got a Flage. See what they hit. Sink in the stupor. Okay, so unfortunately, Shoot the Sheriff does not kill Ragavan, which is a bit of a pain. I'm gonna have to like tank another hit off of this, try to set up a Thought Scour to find something, and then hopefully find something and have a counter spell up. Kevin, what's up? Bolt is the unknown. Just going all in on try to get me dead. Sewers. Ajay. Need a Thought Scour over a threat. We do not. So we've got counter spell for the Flage coming back. Play this tapped in case I find a prismatic ending next turn. Not looking too good for the home team. I'm doing a very nice job of flipping over my lands though. They also could just have a... No, they can't have a Stubborn Denial because I've got Force. Cycle this. Okay. That's a chunky boy. Can't play it out here though because I'm just dead to the Flage if I do. No! Unearth. That's rude. So we force this. Now hopefully they have to spend the mana, escape the Flage. I do have the land. I think I'm actually going to kill the Kavu here instead of the Scion. I've got the Oculus to block. Still have to play the Oculus though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I don't want him to be able to dig with the Kavu. Left a card on top. You have a Stubborn Denial. Or a Bolt or a Tribal Flames or half the modern card pool. Oh, baby. We got a game. We got a game. Maybe. So I'm going to attack with the token. Because I would want them to block this. And there's a chance they might think it's like a frog and not. Exile the Flage. They go. Yes. That's okay. I just need like another counter spell. Give me one more counter. Quite what I had in mind, but you know. We out here praying. So flipping the frog doesn't do anything. Attacking with the Trespasser is just throwing it away to the Scion. Am I attacking with the Oculus? Think no. I'm not putting myself dead to a Leyline binding. I'm already dead to a another Flage or a what's it called? Tribal Flames, Bolt, something like that. Okay. This gives everything lifelink. If I flip the Oculus, they're forced to chump block, right? Because I've got 5, 10, 17 in the air coming in. Was I supposed to just flip the frog and attack? This would have been 5, 10, 17, 18, 19. Did I just punt that? 3 on the Murktide, but they blocked that. They're gaining up to 18. 5, no. No, they weren't dead. But I do flip this up. Am I supposed to attack with these trespassers so I'm not dead to just another bolt or a flage off the top? Just leaving myself dead to a flage or a bolt when they have a Kavu attack seems wrong. Punished. Show me the bolt. They had to have drawn the tribal flames. Never mind. One life. One life. I've been the first frog because that frog doesn't matter. Like, they're either winning or losing that turn. That decision really does not impact the game in like any meaningful way. Either they find the removal spell or I'm killing on the crackback. They find the burn spell or I kill on the crackback. Okay, so I'm on the draw. I know I want Ketramos, Consigns, Kaito maybe. Harbinger, Spellbomb. From Oculus, Unearth, Trim of Force. I'm on Thoughtseize. I don't want to cut all of them though. Golding's pretty bad. Kind of grave hate do they bring in. F Flage, so they're not going to have Rest in Peace. I think I'm not gonna bring in Kaito on the draw. I think I'm just gonna bring in one Harbinger. Opponent moles to 6, and I think I'm gonna join. Two straight 7-card hands with only a sink in the stupor. How many rags do we eat before taking the win? Like how many Ragavan hits? I think like 4. Counter spell. Land. Technically. Re-entomb. That's always like the worst feeling in the world against any of the Flage decks. Flage or Gorios or the Mirror. Hmm. Take this, go to 4. I have to fetch and shock to 1 to kill the Kavu. Yeah. Okay. Last time I played Oculus, I kept a 1-lander, didn't see the second until turn 6 after even 2 Thought Scour. I mean, the deck's like pretty good at keeping 1-landers if your 1-lander is a fetch land or Dark Slick or Watery Grave. Not so much when your 1-land is the one of Sink into Stupor. So the odds were not very well in our favor there. I do kind of enjoy the fact that my hands so far have either been no Fatal Push or no mana to cast Fatal Push. And I kind of want something in between. I don't love just getting repeatedly dunked on by this turn 1 Ragavan all 3 games. Oh, Nicodle, sure. You can respond to Scion. It's all that matters, but it's not all that matters. It's like a good part of the game plan, but it's definitely not the only thing we care about. You still have to have a functional hand of magic cards. That's like the Leyline of the Void argument. Like, oh, you just have a Leyline in your opener. You can mold a 5 to it, and that'll win you the game. And then it doesn't. You're like, but I had a Leyline. You still have to have a Leyline and a functional hand. Got the sheriff. Go ahead and fetch here, just in case we entomb something. Take back what I said about Oculus decks right now, currently in the Challenge 2 and Crushed Energy round 1. Hell yeah. Love to see it. We have been taken to Zoo Town here. Zoo slash not functional hands. Show me third Flage. Mystical Dispute. Gross. Gross. And then hands. And then you can kick it, pay the 4, and put 2 cards into your hand. So like 4 mana, look at the top 5. Look at the top 4 or 5 and put 2 into your hand. I would not compare this to Dig Through Time. Dig Through Time is like beyond significantly better. But if you're just looking for like a card draw spell, could be worse. At least no rag. Can't handle more rags. Would love a Fatal Push today. Fatal Push and the mana to cast it. Corrected myself. Also, why'd you have to say no rag just immediately? Well, the warp card seems like they can do some damage. I like the way the warp mechanic looks. I don't think it feels broken. I don't think there's anything that I would say is just overwhelmingly troublesome about it. Okay. So I would love to keep this force up just in case of like goblin bombardment or something on their turn. And the only way to guarantee I can keep force up is to not play the Thought Scour here. So I think I have to archive, see if I happen to flip something over. Come on, Oculus. One time, buddy. That'll work. Not an Oculus, but we'll take it. I was kind of telling the story at the RCQ this past weekend. I had a dude in Indy playing Affinity that got really mad at me when I like blind flipped over an Oculus at the end of his first turn. And I had to tell him, like, that was the first time that has happened to me this entire weekend that I've blind flipped over any creature, let alone Oculus. And I don't know if he just thought I was like lying about it or what. You remember being a frog doubter? I really hate that discussion because I wasn't a frog doubter. I just didn't like the lines around frog. I just didn't like feel I was good enough identifying and playing the lines that Psychic Frog involved. I discard, not force, because what if I force this and their last card's like a static prison? And I just lose my frog and my force and my blue card. Really putting me in a bind here, aren't they? I don't think their last card is another discharge or another removal spell. That's like my gut feeling. So I think I'm just blocking here and discarding like a Thought Scour. Getting the Ocelot off the board. It's a 2-mana play. That kind of sucks, but We need to play around prison. I can't beat prison there. Or are you talking about the discard? Like, I don't think I can beat second removal spell there, so I don't really... Talking pre-combat, fair. Passing back. If they're not attacking, I'm not attacking. Unless they flip a flage into the yard right here. If they flip a flage, then I'm swinging. And jumping. Flage, I hate you so incredibly much. You were the bane of my existence. Wish you would burn. Burn in flagey hell. Alright, well, they still don't have City's Blessing. Come on. Come on, deck. One of your finest lands, please. Yeah. Like, I have to either tap out to play Frog and they just get free escape Flage. There's such a weird hand. Like, I could have discarded something to not hold up the force, but then I just auto lose to a Goblin Bombardment and kept the third land. I could have discarded the Trespasser, but then I have to hit exactly Unearth, and I've already discarded one. Or no, I scoured over one. I didn't discard one. Surveilled over one, something. Needs to go to church. What? Our deck? Today, I agree. Splash Esper one time, and this is what you get. I don't really have anything else I actively want to bring in. Okay. We can work with this. I think this is by far the best hand I've seen today so far. Top land for push and it's a 10. That's fair. This right here is also why I say not to board in Harbinger against Boros, because, like, they can play around Blood Moon effects so easily. This also probably means that they have a Blood Moon, but I don't think I'm going to play around it too aggressively because I have the Force. Unless they have, like, the voice into Blood Moon. Okay. Never saw it coming. Never in a million years did I think there was a Blood Moon anywhere in the vicinity. Discard the Unearth because I don't really need the Unearth and the Force. You redeemed me against Shadow Titan. I appreciate it. I needed it. All right. Prismatic Ending. Throwing away. I think I'm throwing away the Scolding. Get Johnny off the board. Go ahead and just take out this Johnny. It could follow up with a Flage, but I kind of feel like if they had a Flage, they should have played it last turn. I do have the Voice of Victory. Okay. I have like Voice plus Discharge. Nope. Oh, this is surprisingly beatable. Block of Voice will take. make 3, 4 tokens. Voice out of the way. Okay, so I can attack in with the frog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just need to find an Oculus and we're fine. I think the pride might have been the block there. Well, if I block the pride, it just like shuts off my entire hand, right? Blocking the voice, I do still have like outs to this, plus just trespasser, frog, stand in the way. We can just pass, let the graveyard trespasser flip. See what we hit. This 2-1 here. Don't we sink Ocelot? Not if they haven't gained life. If they haven't gained life, I don't care about the Ocelot. Am I attacking with the Graveyard Glutton? I get to exile Ragavan, Voice of Victory, gain a couple life. I think I am. If they want to trade like 4 tokens for the Glutton, that's fine with me. This is like so much board to give up. Think I'll keep that in my hand for force. Hey, look, a fatal push. You know how much I've always wanted one of those. I don't think that's the attack you want to make. Okay. Jump the frog. Back in with the frog in the eye. Discard to the frog. Deal 10. Woo. Game 3. Back on the draw. Please, for the love of God, give me a pest control or a Ketramose or a fatal push or a prismatic ending or like 50% of my post board deck. I feel like that's not asking too much. I think my deck just like actively wants to hate me today. Fatal push, prismatic ending, stern scolding, spell snare, fatal push, shoot the sheriff, psychic frog. Like all of these cards I would love to see. I don't have a turn 2 Murktide with force back up, so I think I just have to throw this back. Sage, I appreciate the 50 bits. Thank you so much. Well, we can't make a turn 2 Merc. So turn 2 Merc versus turn 3 Merc on the draw is a really, really significant difference. If I had another fetch land in hand and I could guarantee a turn 2 Merc, I'd be a lot more inclined to keep that hand. Fatal pushes just flying out the window. They just don't want to be here. Yeah, I think Trespasser is too important for dealing with Flage. I don't think you can afford to throw it back if you have the choice. All right, play a Blood Moon. 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 I believe in you. Damn it. Asked nicely and everything. All right, I think let's give them the city's blessing. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But they would get it end of turn, so I do have to block the Ocelot Pride this time. Discharge. Okay, I can discard Murktide for free. I can discard Murktide, Sink into Stupor, both relatively free. I've got a fetch to enable Oculus, so I can discard the Trespasser and keep enough cards for Oculus. I want to keep the Trespasser in hand, preferably, because I think it's like my only way to dig back in. All right. I know that's free. I know that's free. I don't want to discard the Marsh Flats and get into one of these missed third land drop situations again. I think I'm just discarding the Trespasser. Why did they pay an energy? Like, no sense. The world is as it should be. Decisions don't matter. Why are we sitting here trying to make an informed choice? We'll play around Blood Moon. Let's be smart about our decisions and have a reason for discarding stuff. Deck, oh, I got you, fam. Got a Johnny. I would love to see second to Johnny make a cat here. This is fine too. We're not blocking that. We win. We just have flip Oculus, fly frog, attack in. I was trying not to say anything to jinx it. But if they had had 1 mana open, then Galvanic Discharge would have saved them. Now that they don't... do yet. Cause he's a Quiniac on the floor. He's quinning like he's never quinned before. Alright. It says opponent last seen Rakdos burn. If that's the case, this is not a very good hand into Rakdos burn. Like, I've got a removal spell, but I have no clock whatsoever. I would rather just try to find a frog or something. Real questions, what is Amulet getting? I know Dogfish liked the 4 mana green dude. It's like a Crucible of Worlds and does something else. But I don't think I'm really feeling that one for Amulet. I think I'm just going to go ahead and force this. Get cards in the graveyard. Save some life. We can find another land. Yeah. Yeah. You thought you had me F6'd. I've studied the blade. Help me. Okay. Casual turn 3 from Titan. Been there. No. Play out the land so that if they do have a 2-mana burn spell, I can spell snare. And I do believe it's worth getting a fetch here, getting a surveil. Put myself dead to like another barbarian ring, but we take that risk. I'm gonna keep that. It seems weird, but that saves me from a 3-mana burn spell for a turn. So like another Rift Bolt or a what's the one you gotta deal damage to make it cheaper? Spectacle one. So like I've got a 2-mana spell covered. Now I've got, yeah, skewer the critics. I got a 2-mana spell covered. Now I've got like a 3-mana spell covered for a turn. No! Take it back. Take it back. They passed through the turn. They cast it in F6. They cast it in F6. Oh no. Play to your outs indeed. Yes. Oh man, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. F6 is the real code. Nobody plays around the F6. I'll take things you can't do in paper for 200, Alex. Well, what if your opponent just goes like, well, I'm going to cast this Lava Spike and pass. All right, sink it. Go to my turn on tap. No creature on one. All right, so we're looking for a force. Counterspell, I guess, is okay-ish. Play out the Undercity. I don't think pending deals with anything at the moment. Boy. Play a creature, please. Just one. I'm going to scour you. Of course, sees 0 creatures and draws me into an Oculus. Oh no, Goblin Guide's in there. Okay, we have a target. Back up to 3 burn spell range. Ward trigger. Ward trigger, and they throw a creature into the yard. This might be our time. Flip the trespasser. Have a counter spell up. Cycle this here, unearth. All right, I think I like playing Frog more than Oculus here. And I think I'm actually just going to discard the Oculus and eat it. I know that sounds crazy, but I think I like gaining the life here. They're going to be dead to Trespasser plus Frog next turn anyway. So all right. I lied. They're not going to be dead yet. Oh no, this is lethal exactly, right? I just can't count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Against the Rock. F6. The Rock. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Stand's pretty sus. I'm gonna ship this back. Better. Throw back second Oculus. Call it a day. Bruh. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Amulet Titan. We have a spelunking. We do. Probably should have gone for a Thought Scour there and looked for a Force Negation. But I really want a Surveil here. Okay. I think this is a pretty significant decision point. I've got 2 options. If I play out a Frog, my opponent can go to their turn, have like second Amulet, bounce land, Titan, bounce land, pick it up, Grazer, bounce land, Titan. A lot of ways that they can Titan, but I don't think I'm getting in a better spot if I wait, because my best draws from this point are multiple more lands off the top. Like I need to hit another land off Thought Scour, my Surveil, but I can't if I have to counter spell, and a 4th land to be able to Frog plus counter up. So I'm just going to jam the Frog here. And if they have the ability to get in Titan and play next turn, they got it. But if they don't, I put myself in a significantly better position to win the game from here. So I'm willing to take this risk of if they got it this turn, they got it, I die. If one of these were like an Urza Saga going off this turn, I wouldn't take the same risk because all they would need is another bounce land and they could kill me. Or any bounce land and they could go get another amulet, kill me. And I don't think that's worth the risk. Can I ask you to explain how to recognize what is going on against Amulet? I always have no idea what kind of combo they'll do to kill me. When you say recognize what's happening, it's kind of tough because a lot of the argument into most turns against Amulet is just like recognizing a general idea of how much mana can be made at that point and deciding if it's worth playing into that mana or not. So that last turn, my opponent had Handwear Battlements, Crumbling Vestige, Forest. So if they untapped and played a bounce land with their amulet, they could only make 5 mana. That's not enough to cast a Primeval Titan, so they would need something else. So now their 5 card hand has to become like bounce land, Titan, a second amulet, or an Arboreal Grazer. And it's just about determining that I think they have to have too many different pieces to kill me at that point for me to feel I need to worry about. So I would rather just jam the frog and try to play for a later turn than try to play the slow game. Now, it looks like their last card's probably a Titan. The way they're floating here. And it is. So I'm getting heavily rewarded for the decision to go in on the frog aggressively. And I'm going to keep doing that. I don't think that the second Psychic Frog is doing anything for me. I would much rather try to make this a 3-turn game. Wrong, it was an Astral Titan, not a Primeval Titan. You're fair, you got me. Escape Shift also kills me, so we're gonna counterspell that. Love to see that, don't you? Discard here, hit you with a frog. Carry on. GLHF. Just top deck again. Out of here. Just running scape shifts. Got pest controls coming in, Harbinger coming in, consigns coming in. I've thought about High Noon in the matchup before. Like, it stops your opponent from actively killing you in one turn because they can't, like, no matter how much mana they can't get a Summoner's Pact and pay or and play something. They could play out a Green Suns or something for a Aftermath Analyst, but they can't do anything with it. I don't think it's where I want to be, but just an idea I was thinking about. I don't like all the force negations. Trim on Fatal Push pretty heavily. Spell Snare can come out. And then usually trim on something like Oculus, maybe an Unearth, because I'm expecting them to have Bajuka Bog. If not main deck, then post board. Search it out a little more aggressively. Like pest controls for constructs and amulet, right. Just sweeping away some of the stuff that can steal games if you're not careful. Opponent typed me a message and I'm pretty sure it just says like, man, that's a really good series of draws, good games, well played. Both sides had a good time. Guess we'll see. Just says nice. All right, opponent, you're good people. Floor. And archive. Care about an extra frog. Go ahead and jam this frog down and pass. And Sexix, to go back to your question about like recognizing what's going on. This Urza Saga is not getting cracked next turn, so I know that they won't have an amulet unless I let one resolve through a force of negation. They can make 3 mana here, potentially 4. That's not Titan mana. They don't have an amulet effect, so I don't have to worry about like Arboreal Grazer into something. I have this counter spell to untap too, so I could force this Spelunking. I don't really want to, mainly because they're going to get to search up an amulet effect off of this Saga anyway. So I think I'm just letting this go. Like, I don't want to use my force and a blue card here and then have to use my consign on the Saga anyway. They just have like nothing left in hand at that point. What I would rather do is try to spend this turn setting up for a Harbinger after the Urza Saga leaves, so that hopefully I can like fight over something on their turn, untap, have Harbinger, shut down a lot of the mana production. I want to draw a card here. Discard this and fly the frog. Really would love to hit that 3rd land. But I'm not playing out the Harbinger right here because I don't think I can currently beat them turning this Urza Saga into just a construct factory. So I want to get this Urza Saga off the board before I consider getting the Harbinger down. Xing Bobble. You got it. Wireless tracker. Opponent has not played a land yet. I don't hate just counterspelling this. It really depends on if I think they have a dismember. Because it could get really awkward if I let this go. Let me see what's on top. I think I am going to counterspell this. Like, their hand would have to be double Amulet, bounce land, grazer, something insane to go off right here with that one bounce land. All right, 6 has reach, so there's not really a point in jumping the frog. They've got dismember. Life gets a little more difficult. A lot more difficult. All right. So they were sandbagging the good stuff. Unfortunate, but happens. They kind of had enough to have like the bait spell. Oh, they sandbagged a lot. Yeah, they had enough to have like the bait spell, the removal spell, the amulet effect, the saga, double value 3 drops, like fair enough. Now we'll just go to game 3. Now they got the Otawara in hand. Stern Scolding looks a lot better now that I've seen 6 and Tireless Tracker. Bring in an extra push. And they showed Vexing Bauble. What do I think about Vexing Bauble? I don't think it changes much. Slow, but at least it has a game plan. Game plan of pest control away, all of the The 1-drops. In Harbinger, but like we saw that last game, Harbinger isn't enough by itself. Like, you need more than just it. That's a really good hit. Boom. That's why I bring in pest control. All right, little Harbinger. I need something else. Like, I need a counter spell or a force of negation. Something to answer a dismember. But this is a start at least. That's good. Speed up the clock a little bit. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to save this consign. There we go. Now I think we're kind of cooking. They've got an Explorer Unknown. No green mana currently. Now we'll start discarding into the frog a little bit. I'm not playing that out. I don't want to tap off of sync plus force. Sure. I could have lethal right here. I don't think I'm going for it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'd have to discard my entire hand. I don't think it's worth it. But I do want to make sure I've got a third threat in play in case of Otawara next turn. And we'll eat the Titan to make Shifting Woodlands worse. Transmute Solari West. Okay. Get Odawara. That's why we make sure we play out that extra threat so they're dead even through an Odawara. But we win a die roll. We kind of got a functional hand here. That's the good writing. When it starts to blend together. I'm going to try to throw them off the scent a little bit. Damn it. Oh, I don't want to play against Esper. Dolthy Voidwalker. Solitude, March, Flicker Wisp, Emperor of Bones. So are we taking this Solitude and just like losing to the Flicker Wisp, blinking my Murktide? Might want to play my land. And I'm going to go ahead and kill this before it exiles something out of my yard. I guess I can hold up for one turn here. See if maybe like they prematurely go for the Flicker Wisp if they hit the land. Have Relic. You ever just feel so ungodly punished for any decision that you've ever made in your life? How I feel right here. Just everything is pain. I'm gonna hold off this turn. Relic. Main deck Relic. What are we even doing? What are we doing with our lives? This matchup feels unwinnable. It's not even that it feels unwinnable. It's like there's so many tiny little things that could have made this match go the complete opposite direction and just didn't. Like, if they don't hit the Relic, then I have a Murktide on the battlefield. They've been kind of hitting live cards since then, which is making life tough. I'm hitting stuff that doesn't really matter here. Well, Unearth doesn't really do a whole lot into the double march of otherworldly light on the other side. Like here's double Thoughtseize, Relic, third, fourth land. They were not in the opener. It's just one of those cases of like, you can't play around the top of your opponent's deck. We already know that. That's not some crazy radical leftist idea or whatever. But those hits off the top also have to be impactful. Like, what if instead of hitting Thought Seizes and Relics, they were hitting Ketchermos, or they were hitting more Emperor of Bones, or something like that that we could interact with? That'd be kind of nice, but not what happened. You like Trespasser versus Black White? Yeah, Trespasser's like one of your better cards versus Black White. The ward is very, very relevant. I'm kind of hoping that with them having all of these double pit cards like Dolthy and Flicker Wisp and whatnot, that their mana is going to be a little awkward. And maybe Harbinger can do something. Obviously, if I had known the card after was going to be a land, I would have kept the second counter spell, but didn't know that, didn't want to assume that. Now I think I'm just jamming this and saying, I hope you don't have a Solitude. Solitude and Overlord. Nope. Sure. Um, I could just pending this. I think I am. I think I'm just going to do this while everything's kind of tapped down. I'm assuming if they had an Overlord, they would have played it last turn. Yep. Go for Jace. Bounce the Emperor. They don't get the Solitude. I kind of get screwed if they've got a Felia. I could play out the frog, see if they go for adapt and have shoot. I do kind of like that. Play out the frog, try to force them into like spending mana to adapt the Emperor and then have shoot. And maybe they do something like play a Felia into turn. But like if they gave up their entire turn to double adapt and they lost both the Emperor and the Solitude, I think that's a reasonable trade-off to have the board empty and I get to resolve a Jace. So I think I'm perfectly fine with that outcome. Would have passed last turn holding up shoot so we can play Jace and not have to unsummon. Vindicate right off the bat. All right. It makes more sense to just cycle this and hard cast the Oculus, right? Instead of discarding and unearthing, because I get a new card in hand. All right. Something here better stick and live. I can't go through so many just like banger cards and not have something live. Serve this. Serve everything about this. All right. Why? What are we whying to? Relic of Progenitus. No Overlord is sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and fire off this Thought Seize in case they're just sandbagging one. Ashiok, Flicker Wisp, Solitude. Guess I'm just taking the Ashiok because I don't really have a way to deal with that. And I would like to find another land. I hate that because, like, I don't really care about the Ashiok. It's just a fetch land would be a really good draw for me, and I don't really want it shutting that down. On land. Land, 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 land. Damn it. Deck, I need you to function some kind of bad right now, because I'm pretty positive if I can just hit lands and start slamming these trespassers, I've got a really good chance. The only way that's happening is if you give me lands. I also don't know why they keep stacking their evoke triggers this way. Yep. Come on, deck. Land me. Last two cards are Godless Shrine and Solitude. Okay. If I slam Trespasser here, exile Flicker Wisp, they Solitude, exile or discard Godless Shrine. They get a top deck plus a relic. Got shoot for the Overlord. But I think this is just going to come down to, like, I need them to brick like 3 draw steps. Brick, 3 draw steps. Yep. Could be 1. Oh, it's nighttime too. Heck yeah. Come on. I just need these 3 bricks. It's a march. Doc, sure. I would call that a brick. Okay. Okay. This is good for the home team. Can't fetch that at the moment because of Ashiok. But I can just attack it, Ashiok. They are going to let the Solitude die. Maybe they're afraid of Bowmasters pinging off the Ashiok. Alright. Can you start having like all the stupid little creatures now? The Felias, the Flicker Wisps. Yes, that. All that stuff. I need you to not have an Ephemerate. I don't have Force and Negation in the deck. I could draw another Thoughtseize. I think it's better to just go for this now. All right, we get to attack again. Exile, exile. I have a Thought Scour to start working towards Oculus. Opponent is, for whatever reason, bound and determined to protect this Ashiok. It's obviously good for me. Don't have anything I can hit in response to this. I'm a card short of Oculus. Really know why that's in your deck? It shuts down Frog. Can you fetch and counter ability of Ashiok with Consign? It's not an ability like a trigger that goes on the stack. It says you just can't do that thing. It's not like a whenever they fetch, counter it. It's just you can't do it, period. There is no thing to consign. Nothing to be sorry about. Pointing out that I did not have the choice. All right. So I'm going to Fatal Push on their upkeep. I have no more fetchables. Hey. Love this bird. They really do. Their favorite bird ever. Oh, I do have another fetchable. Oh, yeah. Gotta cycle this. Do a whole lot of nothing. Let me get a token. Or a manifest, whatever. Just one. I'm not asking for much. I'm not being greedy. Let me get one. High tone and jutsu on a manifest? Absolutely can. Alright, so this is Solitude. Never mind. Maybe I should have just gone for the Kaito last turn. This is the game that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. Hold. Hold, brothers. Hold. I think I'm playing out of frog. I think I'm okay giving them another target to interact with, or making it so if they find a Vindicate for the Kaito, they can't kill the frog. Yep. Why on earth would you take the Harbinger there? I feel like that doesn't do anything for you. Like, you've already got your basics. Unless they want to shut off, like, Zero from, or not Zero, Dolphy. I think I'm just passing. I've got lethal on the crackback with Frog and Kaito, even if they attack into the Kaito. That should be it. One card in hand, they can attack at the Kaito. It doesn't really matter. Four, five, six. So I can just Jace, minus on the Solitude. If they cast it back, I can consign the ETB trigger the Solitude. We are gods. We are gods. Injure. Injure on the draw. I'm going to keep this because it has a fatal push and a frog. So, like, if I find an unearth or I find a any second land is great with frog force, but if I find an unearth, I'm in pretty good shape. Yep. The one lander. We're going to be doing the same thing. I should have kept the Oculus. Or I should have kept the Unearth. Voice of Victory is a pretty good magic card. Hmm. Got a handful of bangers, just needed that second land. All right. If I can find another land, I'm like pretty well off. I can't fight on that prison with Voice of Victory. All right. Just one of those good old games like if we see the second land on curve, we're good. If we see third land ever, we're good. He hit what he needed. I don't hate my keep. I think like knowing that he's on knowing that he's on Boros and knowing that that hand had all the tools I needed to get across the finish line. Had Fatal Push, had Frog, Force, a land, had a couple draw steps to hit it. I think it was fine. Not going to do it on the play, though. It's not a high roll channel. It is sometimes. If he's got prison, he's got prison. If you have prison, or if you have prison plus arena, so be it. I'm gonna take this because that's in what I'd be targeting anyway. All right. Yeah, no galvanic on the cat is nice. Can't imagine that he's playing like Felia. I don't really want to know, or I don't really know what he's drawing to not do anything in here. Could just be waiting for Flage to cast on the Murktide. Double Celestial Purge. It's a good one. Especially right after the double purge discard. Like, if that doesn't look like stream sniping, I don't know what does. All right, show me your Flage. Hurting something. I don't want to exile to jump this frog in case I find an Oculus off the top. Might not matter. Yeah. What? I mean, like, playing the frog right after he Spyros discards 2 Celestial Purges looks like I knew he had the Celestial Purge and I didn't play out the frog. And then when he went to discard him, I immediately played it and pumped my Murktide. Here's Orum's chant out of Storm. Hope you had multiple counters, because if not, you're dead. Hey. We top deck and unearth. One time for the boys. One time for the boys. Unearth, unearth, unearth. Oh my god. Opponent. I'm sorry. All it took was 7 rounds of Swiss, all the heartache for this one moment. This one brief little shining moment. We very much might still lose this. WTF, bro. Oof, oof, oof. Triple Guide, Ocelot, Ajani, Bardment, Flage. Flip a Johnny, make a million energy. Jesus. This was prime good fun gaming. So do I have to find I have to kill a Johnny, find an untapped blue source, a fetch or something like that, play Murktide. Or can I win if I don't kill the Ajani? If I pass and they flage, they get flage plus cat token is enough energy to fly something else. So no, I cannot win if I don't kill the Ajani. Come on, fetch. Okay, step one on the road to having a chance. Do I just attack in with... Can I present lethal if I go like attack frog, discard scour, exile to jump the frog, attack in 4, 5, 12, 13, 14. No. Voice of Victory is making 2 tokens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Flage ETB, if it goes after a creature, is okay. So I think I have to play the Graveyard Trespasser, exile something, go to 5. I'm not dead to the board. Either they go after my face and they can't attack through for lethal, or they go after a creature and I get to keep the extra life. Just attack. Just attack. Do it. Do it. No. Are we always dead if they attack? They have 3 flying. They don't have 3 flying. They only have 2. They have this guide and whatever they put the counters on. They're just putting it on itself. So if I go block, 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 discard, throw the Murktide. Yeah. Discard. Throw the Murktide. Go to 1. Get my grave. Oh, get out of here. Ah. Aren't we always dead? He says. Aren't we always dead? Always dead is a state of mind I refuse to accept. Oh. Know your outs, play to your outs. Two games today, we've won at 1 life though, so that's kind of cool. Well, they had 2 flyers. They did 2 turns ago before I fatal push the second guide. I don't love this hand at all, but hopefully we can find something. Kind of needed my first draw to not be another land, but you know, here we are. And get a basic swamp here just in case of Blood Moon. Rude. How many Celestial Purges does Boros usually run? If I know offhand. Purge. Well, if there's a way we can get that online, that would be pretty dope. So we would have to top deck an Oculus or a Murktide right here, I think. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Probably still die. Yeah, because now if we cast anything that exiles, oh, that's savage. If we cast that and exile something to get Catcher Most closer to being online, we die to the trigger. Okay. But we get to go to game 3 on the play. That's got to count for something. On deck, do not let that game 1 go to waste here. Such a sweet game 1. We've got to finish it up with a win. I'll take a 3rd land. That'll let me hold up counterspell this turn and still get another Surveil. That out of here. Okay. Got Oculus mana for next turn. I don't know if holding up Spell Snare does anything for me. I kind of don't want to pay the extra 3 life. I guess if they have like another Goblin Bombardment, that would kind of suck. Yep. Fatal Push this so the pest control can wipe up all the tokens. Okay. Go down the Scalds. Triple flame to Johnny. Oh no. Oh no. Am I just playing out this frog? Well, they can't play and escape in a Johnny or a Flage. I have Snare for a Johnny, so I don't want to play out the Trespasser. Till the end of your next turn, you may play those. I think I'm just playing out the frog here. I think I want to save the life by having them go after the frog with the Flage and not me. Preferably. spell snare this so they can't flage the token and flip the Ajani. Oh, oh my god. Their hand is Spyro 4th Flage. Triple Flage off the showdown. 4th Flage in hand. God bless. Oh, man. Okay. Well, we should end up top 16. I believe. I'll stick around and wait for this this round. Like I said, there's a small little micro chance we could squeak into top 8. But it would take a lot of good fortune. And I don't think our breakers were particularly good. How was ending main? Honestly, pretty bad. Like, it never really came up. I wasn't seeing it much in the Boros matchup. If I was running 4 instead of 2, it might have been a little better. But just 2, like, wasn't showing up enough. Now, I did like it in the 75. I did get to pending a couple Ashioks against Black-White. But I think pending in general was pretty low. Yeah, we did exile a Ketramos. So I liked it in general. I didn't like having the white splash in the main. There were several times that I had to deliberately get archive in spots that I would have rather gotten in Undercity sewers. So that I would have the ability to double black spell. It wasn't like end of the world, but just minor sequencing. Like, for example, there's times where you have an unearth and you want to get Undercity first, so that if you flip over something with Undercity, you can untap and unearth it and still get your other Surveil land, or get your other Surveil first. And if you flip something off the archive, have the black untap for unearth. With Prismatic Ending, it wants you to kind of do that backwards. So now you're taking away the ability to flip over into something with archive, untap, unearth it, while using your mana efficiently, and it just adds up over an event. What's the straight Dimir list at the moment? I believe it's this one. Instead of the pendings, I've just got a Cling to Dust and like an extra cantrip. Nothing really too crazy about it. I've been trying out Illness in the ranks, but I honestly never like seem to draw it, so I don't know how it actually is. But I think the Dimir list is like very, very clean, and I'm pretty happy with it. But every now and then, like, you'll have matches like that last one, or the game 3 against Amulet, where you just hit that pest control at the right moment and it looks really good, or Ketramos has been pretty good for me out of the board. So I might just go with the straight Dimir main deck, run the second Undercity instead of the Meticulous Archive, and just have like one Hallowed Fountain as the splash for probably 2 pest control and something. But it does get awkward because you up the chances of flipping over your like 1 white source to a Thought Scour.